Welcome friends, welcome back to the kitchen. As you can see, we've got a new addition in the kitchen. A couple of dry ager cabinets, and these are for dry aging meats, making salamis, charcuterie, that type of thing. They are a temperature and humidity controlled environment that is absolutely fantastic for getting the best out of your meat. They're empty. So today I'm going to start filling them up. We're going to make our take on an Italian Lonzino, which is salt cured pork loin that is then air dried. So into this bowl, we're going to start with the cure. First, I've got salt. This is Prague powder number 2 or pink salt number 2, even though ours isn't pink. Go figure. Next in, I have some crushed black pepper. And make sure you're using Prague powder number 2 or Instacure number 2. It is a little bit different than Prague powder number 1 or pink salt number 1. Instacure number 1 goes by a whole bunch of different names depending on where you are. Just make sure you get the one that is number 2. So in this little grinder, I have some fennel seeds and also some bay leaves. I'm going to crush the bay leaves a little bit and put them in here, and we'll grind this up. I absolutely love fennel with pork. It just goes so well together. So put that into the bowl with the rest of the cure, and I'll just get a spoon here and we'll give this a really good mix. Mix it all up. And then we just rub it into this piece of pork loin, and we're going to use all of the cure. Now all of the measurements are in the description box below the video if you're on YouTube. And you figure this out. This is a measured dry cure. So the amount of salt and everything that's on here is the maximum amount that the meat will take in. So when we go through the curing process, it's not going to get overly salty. You're not going to have to rinse this at the end to take away some of that salt. And it might seem like there's too much here, but there is the right amount. And the whole thing's going to go into this bag. I'm going to vacuum seal it and stick it in the fridge. So let's get this on here. So the pork into the vacuum bag. All of the extra cure that I haven't spilled on the countertop goes in there as well. So we'll just vacuum seal this. Now this will go into the regular kitchen fridge for 8 to 10 days or so. And every day I'll pull it out, just give it a little bit of a massage to make sure that all of the cure is all over the outside of the pork. I'll see you back here in a couple of weeks. So we'll cut this out of the packaging. And then I need to take it over to the sink and just rinse all of the cure off. And I don't have to wash the cure off, like completely wash it off. I just want to rinse off most of what's on here. Okay, so I've got it rinsed off. Next up is to wrap it in some cheesecloth. And there's a few reasons to wrap it in cheesecloth. Some of them are just tradition. Traditionally, this would have been hung in a very open place, and the cheesecloth was to keep bugs off. Others say it's to slow down the drying process a little bit. By the way, I don't know. So I don't think we need to do a really expensive actual cheesecloth. I think hardware store or grocery store cheesecloth will be fine. So just wrap this up so that it's completely covered. There we go. And now we need to tie it. And I'm no expert in tying up or trussing a Lonzino or this type of thing or any sausage. I'm learning as I go along. So all of the videos that I've watched, the people who do it, they obviously know what they're doing, and they do it really quickly. So I think it's just take your time, and you want to tie it up so that you're shaping it, but you also want to tie it up in a way that it will hang in the curing fridge. Okay, so I've got a string that comes around this way and loops over this way, and it's tied here at the top. So now I take this and I make a loop, and I go around twice, and then I come under, and then pull it tight, and then I make another loop, and I come over maybe an inch, inch and a half, and you do the same thing. Take your time. It's not a race. And now we weigh it. 1.2 kilos. Now we weigh it because we want this to lose somewhere between 30 to 35, maybe even 40% of its weight while it's in the drying cabinet. And that weight loss, coupled with the salt cure, ensures that this is a safe product to eat without having to be cooked. It is fully cured at that point. So I rate all of that information on this little tag. The starting weight, what my expected finish weight is going to be, and the dates. And I'm going to tie that on here, and then we're going to stick this into the drying fridge. Now I've got the small dry ager set up at 12 degrees Celsius. You want to be somewhere between 12 and 15 degrees Celsius. And I'll put the Fahrenheit equivalents in the description for our American friends. And I've also got it set up at 80% humidity. That's kind of where you want it to be. Now I'm going to leave this in here, I don't know, 3-4 weeks. Every once in a while I'll pull it out, I'll weigh it, check it, and see when it's ready to go. Otherwise, I'll see you when it's done. As you can see, I've moved the dry ager down to the brewery. It was getting really busy out in the studio. I just didn't have enough space. So the Lonzino has been in here for about a month at this point. I weighed it up yesterday and realized that we have reached our target weight. So let's take this back out to the studio, cut it up, and see how it tastes. Now, seeing as this is my first go at making Lonzino, I followed directions that I'd been given by a number of different people, by a number of different books that are, authorities on this subject. And they all told me to put on the cheesecloth. I wouldn't put the cheesecloth on a second time, I don't think. I don't think I'd wrap it. I think I'd just tie it with the string and get a nice tight package. Got quite a bit of mold on this, which doesn't really bother me because I know that you're supposed to get mold. So let me get this unwrapped and we'll see what we've got. Okay, so I gave this a little bit of a rinse off under the tap just to take off the white mold that was on the outside. I don't see any black mold on it anywhere. It was just a nice coating of white mold. And it smells really good. So let's cut this open and we'll see what we've got here. So let's cut it right in the middle. See what we've got. Oh, that looks really good inside. It smells wonderful. So I'm going to slice some of this up on the deli slicer and get Julie out here to help us taste it. Hey, Jules.
Hi, Glenn. Hi, friends. Again, approaching with caution.
So, this is a take on a Lonzino. So it's a pork loin cured. Let's give that a go.
What did you put in that?
Fennel? Did you get the fennel?
It's the fennel.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's sometimes really hard, right? Because like, I know that flavor. Mm-hmm. I know that flavor, but it's not in the context that I'm used to.
And it's very subtle. It's not overpowering. It's not overly salty. In fact, it's just kind of, I think, the right amount of salt. I think we got lucky.
Or you've got a good recipe.
I looked through so many recipes. I looked through so many books. I looked through so many online resources. And what I found was, for the most part, there's overlap. But in terms of method, people argue over what the correct method is. There's no consensus on the correct method. So I sort of went somewhere down the middle. And I think it worked. And so I was very careful to do a small little piece of meat the first time. I didn't want to go for a full loin
Smart.
And completely screw it up. So I went small, it worked out, now we can scale up. It's quite good. I like that.
I'm glad you're enjoying.
I need to make some bread and we'll have some sandwiches.
That sounds like a plan.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Thanks for stopping by.
See you again soon.